I died choking on my own blood. The cold marble floor of the family estate pressing against my cheek as Victor's polished loafers stepped over me like I was yesterday's trash. The last thing I saw was his face, my stepfather's face, twisted in that fake sorrow he'd perfected for board meetings, whispering, "This is for the greater good, Annabelle," right before the poison hit my veins like liquid fire. And just like that, the world went black. But death? Turns out it's not the end. It's a goddamn reset button, spitting me back into my 25-year-old body, 3 years before that fatal family dinner, with a taste of cheap diner coffee on my tongue and Grandma's unopened while burning a hole in my purse. Waking up in that cramped Brooklyn apartment, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a fire escape that rattled like bones in the wind, I bolted upright, gasping like I'd just surfaced from drowning. My hands flew to my throat, smooth, unmarked. No phantom burn from the toxin that had ended me. The clock on the nightstand blinked 7:42 a.m. October 15th, 2022. Not 2025. Not the year I'd slumped lifeless in the Hamptons mansion, my empire stolen while the paramedics zipped me into a bag. No. This was the morning after Grandma's funeral, when the world still thought her heart attack was just bad luck and not the first domino in Victor's meticulously laid trap. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, staring at the reflection of a woman who looked too young, too unbroken. Annabelle Harper, heiress to nothing yet everything, with her grandma's sharp green eyes and a trust fund that was about to explode into $50 million worth of real estate, tech, startups, and old money stocks. In my first life or death, whatever you call it, I'd been blindsided. Fresh out of Yale Law, idealistic as hell, thinking family meant loyalty. Mom had married Victor 5 years prior, a slick Wall Street shark with a smile like a shark's fin cutting through chum. He'd charmed her out of her grief over Dad's car crash, then slowly poisoned the well, literally, in my case. But now I knew the playbook. Victor hadn't just wanted control. He'd engineered Grandma's heart attack with a little digital sabotage on her pacemaker app, nothing traceable. Just a whisper of code from his hacker buddies in the shadows of Silicon Alley. And me? I was the loose end, the one named in her will as sole beneficiary. To Annabelle, my fierce girl, it read, "Because blood doesn't lie, and neither will you." She'd seen through him, even if I hadn't. In that first timeline, I'd signed over power of attorney to help Mom through the grief, only for Victor to lawyer up, contest the will on grounds of my instability, fueled by planted evidence of my supposed pill habit, and swallow the empire whole. Mom, she got scraps, a condo in Jersey, and a lifetime of his gaslighting. I laughed then, a raw, ugly sound echoing off the tiles. Instability? Try fury. This time, I'd play dirty. No more wide-eyed trust. I'd weaponize every secret I'd uncovered in those final, agonizing months before death, the offshore accounts where Victor funneled bribes from shady Chinese investors into Harper Holdings, the affair with his executive assistant that doubled as blackmail material, the forged documents tying Dad's crash to a rival firm's hit job, all to consolidate power. Grandma had whispered hints in her last lucid days, but I dismissed them as paranoia. Not anymore. By noon, I was suited up in my one good blazer, black, severe, armor for the battlefield, and hailing a cab to the lawyer's office on Park Avenue. The city blurred past, yellow taxis honking like angry geese, steam rising from manhole covers. The endless grind of New York that chews up dreamers and spits out survivors. I clutched Grandma's letter opener in my pocket, a silver heirloom shaped like a dagger. More talisman than tool. Strike true, she'd say, winking over bridge games. The lawyer. Mr. Elias Thorne, silver-haired,
tweed vest,
the archetype of wasp discretion, greeted me with a handshake like wet fish. Miss Harper. Condolences again. Your grandmother's estate is substantial. He slid the will across the mahogany desk, pages crisp as fresh snow. 52 million. To be exact, the Manhattan penthouse, the vineyard in Napa, controlling interest in a green energy firm poised for IPO. And a codicil. Annabelle inherits upon her 26th birthday, with provisions for immediate trusteeship if she deems fit. Trusteeship. That's where I'd fucked up before. Handed it to Victor on a silver platter. This time, Mr. Thorne, I said, voice steady as a judge's gavel. I want to invoke that clause. Name me sole trustee. Effective immediately. He blinked, adjusting his glasses. That's highly unusual. Miss Harper. Your mother. My mother will be fine. I cut in, leaning forward. Victor's the one who needs watching. I've got concerns. Concerns? His pen hovered, ink beading like sweat. I dropped the first bomb, casual as ordering coffee. About the inconsistencies in Grandma's medical records. That pacemaker glitch? Not random. And Dad's accident, brake lines tampered. I have emails.
lies,
Mostly memories from the future, pieced together like a detective novel I'd lived. But Thorne's face paled, and he nodded. I'll need documentation. By end of week. Bluff. But it bought time. As I left, the elevator dinged like a starting bell. Round 1, mine. Back in Brooklyn. My phone buzzed, Mom. Sweetie, dinner tonight? Victor's grilling steaks. Her voice, warm as apple pie, laced with that needy undertone she'd developed post-dad. In the old timeline, I'd said yes. This time, can't.
Mom.
Work emergency. Lie to. The real emergency was digging. I fired up my laptop, the fan whirring like a conspirator, and dove into Victor's digital footprints. Public records first. Marriage to Mom in 17. Quick as a prenup dodge. Then, the firm Vortex Capital, acquisitions that smelled like insider trading. A quick search on LexisNexis, Yale Perks Die Hard, pulled up whispers. SEC investigations dropped after anonymous tips. Victor's fingerprints. Smudged but there. By midnight, jet-lagged on adrenaline, I'd mapped his web, the assistant, Lena, paid off in Cayman cash, the hacker, a ghost named Jax from Queens, traced via a dumb Venmo charge for pizza. And the big one, Grandma's will. Victor had known about it weeks before she died, courtesy of a mole in Thorne's office.
How?
A junior paralegal, bribed with an internship at Vortex. Sleep came in fits, dreams of marble floors and choking gasps. Dawn broke gray, and I was up, pounding pavement to a cyber cafe. Paranoia? Sure. But Victor's reach was long. There, I posed as a journalist, emailing Jax's last known gig site. Heard you freelance. Need dirt on a mark. Attached, a burner photo of Victor at a gala. Arm around Lena. Response in hours. 500 upfront. What you got? Everything, I typed. And a story that'll make you untouchable. As the city woke, horns blaring, vendors shouting, I felt it, the thrill of the hunt. This wasn't just revenge, it was reclamation. Grandma's empire wasn't cash, it was legacy. The kind built on bootstrapping from Ellis Island to Wall Street. Victor? He'd marry into it. Then burn it for profit. Not this time. Evening brought the first real test, a casual drop-in from Mom at my door. Victor in tow. Bearing wine, and that cologne, sandalwood, and lies. We were in the neighborhood, she cooed, hugging me tight. Victor loomed, all 6'2" of tailored menace, eyes scanning like he owned the lease. Annabelle, he drawled, southern charm masking the viper. You look resolute. Hand on my shoulder, grip just a hair too firm. I smiled, teeth bared. Just tying up loose ends.
Victor.
Grandma's affairs. His eyes flickered, gone in a blink. Smart girl. Family first. Right? Always. I poured the wine, watching him sip. No poison yet. That came later. But I marked the glass. Later to swap for a talk screen. Paranoia? Or preparation? They left after small talk. Mom's chatter about redecorating the brownstone. Victor's nods like a bobblehead. Door clicked shut. And I exhaled. Phase 1. Isolate. Tomorrow, I'd hit Lena. Seduce her with sisterhood. Then flip her. Women like us? We recognize the cage. But as I scrolled Jax's encrypted drop, files incoming, Victor's emails spilling like guts, I uncovered the first buried secret. Not just bribes. Dad's crash? Victor's idea. Outsourced to a fixer in Jersey. Motive to weaken Mom. Make her pliable. And Grandma? She'd suspected. Hired a PI whose report vanished the day she died. My hands shook. This wasn't greed. It was annihilation. Family. Reduced to stepping stones. Sleep? Forgotten. I plotted till the skyline glowed sodium orange. The city a beast that never sleeps. Much like the rage coiling in my chest. The next week blurred into a frenzy of shadows and screens. New York's underbelly, my new playground. Jax met me in a dim Irish pub off Bleecker Street. The kind where the bartenders pour guilt with your Guinness and the jukebox croons Springsteen like a dirge. He was scrawny, tattoos snaking up his neck like error code, eyes darting like he expected feds. You this suit hater, he muttered, sliding into the booth. Guilty, I said, pushing an envelope, 5 Benjamins. Crisp as lies. What VE you got on Victor Hale? He grinned, teeth yellowed by Red Bull and regret. More than his wife knows. Offshore wires to Beijing, laundering through fake solar farms. And that PI your grandma hired? I bounced the hack that killed his report. Victor's cleaner than a whistle. But whistles break. Files transferred via a USB shaped like a lighter, old school. Untraceable. Back home, I pored over them till my eyes burned. Timestamps matching Dad's crash date. A $200,000 transfer to J. Rizzo.
Consulting.
Rizzo. The fixer. Now doing life in Sing Sing for unrelated hits. Victor's trail. Cauterized but smoking. Armed. I targeted Lena. Found her on LinkedIn, brunette. Ambitious. Vortex's rising star. A coffee bump at Le Pain Quotidian in Midtown. Oops. Sorry, Annabelle Harper. You work with Victor? Her eyes widened, recognition. Then wariness. Small world, she said, stirring her latte. We chatted. Yale stories. The grind of corporate America. By the second meet, cocktails at the Dead Rabbit, I had her. He promises partnership, she confessed. Voice slurred on gin. But it's all smoke. Bed me or bury me. I nodded, feigning sisterly outrage. I've got proof he's skimming. Help me.
And you're free.
Whistleblower status. Golden parachute. Her laugh was bitter champagne. And if he finds out, he won't. Lie 3. But she bit, handing over a thumb drive of his private server logins. That night, in my apartment with takeout tie going cold, I cracked it, password Victory 25, ego as always. Emails to Rizzo, loose end on the highway. Make it clean. Vomit rose. But I swallowed it. This was the man who'd raised me after Dad. Barbecues and bad jokes masking the monster. Mom's second chance. My nightmare. Decision time. Controversial as hell. Leak to the press?
No.
Too messy. Blows back on Mom. SEC anonymously? Tempting. But Victor's lawyers would bury it. No, I'd build my case. Brick by damning brick. Then detonate from inside. Invoke the trusteeship fully. Call a board meeting at Harper Holdings. Announce the handover with Thorne. But see doubt, recent audits reveal discrepancies. Investigation pending. Victor's reaction. When I texted the agenda. A call at 2 a.m. Annabelle. Darling. What's this about? Family business stays in the family. Straightens out the family, I replied, recording every syllable. See you Friday. The boardroom at Harper Tower was all glass and steel, 30 floors above the chaos, with a view of the Hudson like a vein pulsing blue. Suits filed in old money, new techies, Grandma's loyalists mixed with Victor's plants. He arrived last, Mom on his arm, her smile brittle as Rice Krispies. Annabelle, she said, air-kissing my cheeks. So proud of you stepping up.
Proud.
In the old life, she'd signed the papers stripping me bare, convinced by his whispers of my fragility. This time, I'd protect her from him. Thorne cleared his throat, will in hand. As per Eleanor Harper's directive, Annabelle assumes trusteeship. Full control transfers at 26. Murmurs rippled. Victor leaned back, steepled fingers. Commendable, but premature. The estate's entangled with vortex synergies.
Ide advisa caution.
Synergies. Code for his merger play. Swallowing Harper into his maw. I stood, voice cutting the air like a knife through fog. Caution's what got us here. Audits show irregularities, transfers to unvetted entities. Until cleared, operations freeze.
Gasps.
A boarder, silver fox named Hargrove, Grandma's golf buddy, nodded. Details. Miss Harper. I slid folders across the table, redacted Jack's files. Lena's logs blurred for deniability. Suspected embezzlement.
SEC notified.
Lies, anonymous tip still brewing, but it landed. Victor's face, marble cracking. This is libel. Slander. I'll sue.
Try it, I shot back.
Discovery's a bitch. Mom's hand fluttered to her throat. Annabelle.
What?
Protecting us.
Mom.
All of us. Eyes on Victor. Promise of storms. Meeting adjourned in chaos. Emails pinging like gunfire. Victor cornered me in the hall, breath hot with mint and malice. You little ingrate. Eleanor was senile. Grandma was sharper than your schemes, I hissed, close enough to smell his fear. Back off. Or the tapes go public. Tapes? Plural now. With the call recording. He recoiled, suit whispering silk threats. You'll regret this. Doubt it. But as I rode the elevator down, city lights smearing like tears, doubt crept in. Mom's face betrayal? Or dawning horror? I'd drag her through mud to save her. But at what cost? Controversial choice one. Expose the man she loved, even if it shattered her. That night, Lena texted, "He's raging." Cleaned his office, found this. Attachment, a flash drive icon. Your dad's crash. Full confession audio. Rizzo ratted before dying in custody. I clicked play. Victor's voice tinny and triumphant. Highways clear. No witnesses. Timestamp. Weeks before the wreck. Rage boiled.
Pure kerosene. But sleep? No.
Instead, I called Thorne at dawn. Voice steel. Accelerate probate. And pull Mom's prenup annulment clauses. He hesitated. That's aggressive. Necessary.
Click.
Morning brought fallout. Victor's PR spin on page 6. Eris's power grab rocks family dynasty. Mom's voicemails. Pleading. Then furious. How could you accuse him? After all he's done. All he'd done. Murder. Theft.
Lies.
I drafted a response. Deleted it. Confrontation next. Lunch at our old spot. The Russian tea room, caviar and chandeliers. Where Victor proposed to her amid balalaika strains. She arrived alone. Eyes red-rimmed. Chanel clutched like a shield. Explain. I did. Starting soft. Grandma's suspicions. The will. Then harder. Dad's brakes. The audio cued on my phone. Her face drained. Ghost white.
No. Lies.
He loved your father. Loved the merger. Play button. Victor's laugh. Cold as Siberian wind. She crumpled. Sobs muffled in linen. I held her, rocking like when I was small.
I'm sorry, Mom.
But we end this. Decision 2. Controversial to the bone. I'd force her into therapy. Plant a PI on Victor. Invade her world to save it. She nodded. Broken but breathing. What now? Now, we fight. As we parted. Her cab vanishing into traffic. I felt the weight. Revenge wasn't clean, it was trench warfare. Mud and bayonets. But Grandma's voice echoed. Strike true. I would. With Mom cracking the door, tentative alliance forged in tears, I ramped up the siege. First, the prenup deep dive. Thorne unearthed clauses buried like landmines. Victor's infidelity voids alimony, fraud. The whole shebang. Ironclad. Thorne said over scotch in his club. Leather chairs creaking like old bones. But proving it? Divorce court's a circus. Then we bring the clowns, I replied. Clinking glasses. Plan. Lena testifies to the affair. Jax to the hacks. Rizzo's audio as the kill shot. But Victor? He'd counterattack. Paint me as the vengeful harpy. Unstable heiress gunning for daddy dearest. Public opinion. My next front. I leaked sanitized docs to a friendly reporter at the Times. Ex-Yale. Owed me a favor from a moot court save. Headline dropped Monday. Harper heir uncovers empire intrigue. Embezzlement allegations rock Wall Street. Stock dipped 3%. Vortexes more. Victor's phone call that afternoon. Blocked. His email? Cease this witch hunt. Or your mother pays. Pays how? I forwarded to Thorne, harassment log. But the threat gnawed. Controversial move 3. Protective order for Mom. Citing emotional distress. Filed quietly.
Granted fast.
She called. Hurt but grateful. He's packing. Says it's temporary.
Temporary my ass.
I knew the script. He'd charm her back. Isolate. Then strike. So, I moved her to the penthouse. Under my watch. For safety, I said. She agreed. Eyes haunted. Meanwhile, the board reconvened. Virtual. My call. Hargrove chaired. Loyal to Grandma's ghost. Miss Harper. Your evidence. I shared screens. Wire transfers. Timestamps syncing with Vortex deals. Collusion. Harper assets diverted. Victor zooms in. Face a mask. Fabrications. This girl's on a vendetta. Evidence doesn't vendetta, I countered. Dropping the audio, muffled. But damning. Gasps echoed. Vote. Freeze assets. Independent audit. Victor logged off. Feed cutting like a throat slit. Aftermath. Chaos. SEC raided Vortex dawn Tuesday. Agents in windbreakers swarming the lobby like ants on syrup. Page 6 exploded. Stepdad scandal. Poison pills in the family fortune. Mom barricaded in the penthouse. Chain-smoking merits, her old vice. I feel so stupid, she whispered over room service steak. Rare and bloody. You're not, I lied.
Pouring wine.
Truth, we'd all been blind.
But now?
Eyes wide. Jax vanished, poof. After the payout. Worried. I traced his last ping. A bodega in Astoria. Cops found him in an alley. OD on fentanyl-laced coke. Suicide, the report said. Bullshit. Victor's cleanup crew. Rage, volcanic. But tears first, for the kid who'd trusted me. Funeral was quick. Pauper's plot in Queens. I stood graveside. Wind whipping my coat. Vowing no more bodies. Controversial for go public with Jax's death. Tip to NYPD cold cases. Hacker link to Wall Street fraud. Check Vortex ties. Detective Ruiz called hours later. Gravel voice. Brooklyn born. Heard you're stirring pots. Harper. This legit. Dead legit, I said. Victor's cornered. Watch your back. He grunted. Always do. Mom's therapy started, Dr. Ellis. No nonsense shrink from Columbia. Grief's a thief, she told me post-session. Stole my sight. Progress. Fragile as eggshell. But Victor? He lawyered up. Filing countersuit. Defamation. Emotional distress to mom. Hearing set for Friday. Federal court in Foley Square. I prepped with Thorne. War room in his office. Deposition scripted. Lena coached. Stick to facts, I told her over FaceTime. Her face pale in a hotel room. Fled to Jersey. Fear her new cologne. Court day dawned muggy. The kind where suits stick and tempers fray. Marble halls echoed footsteps like judgments. Victor entered with his shark. Melinda Voss ruthless. Red-soled heels clicking doom. Mom testified first. I didn't know. Voice quaver. But eyes steel, my steel now. Then me. On the stand. Under fluorescent glare. I laid it bare. The will. The threats. The audio played for the judge, sealed. But impact seismic. Voss Cross. MS. Harper. Isn't this revenge for your stepfather's discipline? Your history of instability. Objection sustained. But the seed planted. Whispers in the gallery. Victor's turn. Charm offensive. I loved Eleanor like a mother. Annabelle's grief has twisted her. Twisted. I met his gaze across the room. Saw the flicker, fear. Recess called. I slipped out for air. Hudson breeze, slapping sense. Mom found me. He's lying. I see it now. Back in. Bombshell. Ruiz strides in. Badge flashing. Your Honor. New evidence in a related homicide. Request to impound defendant's devices. Chaos. Voss sputters. Victor blanches. Gavel bangs adjournment. As cuffs glinted, temporary hold, I whispered to Mom. It's over. Not yet. Night brought the twist I'd half expected. Anonymous email. Thorne's secure line. Annabelle, Eleanor here. Watch the safe deposit box. A key in the locket.
Grandma?
Impossible. Dead 3 years. Heart stuttered. Trunks an echo?
No.
Her words. Pre-recorded? I raced to the bank. Midtown vault cold as tombs. Box 717. Letters. Yellowed, a USB and a note. If Victor moves first, this is your blade.
Love. G.
USB. Video.
Grandma.
Frail but fierce. In her study. Annabelle. If you're watching, he's struck. Proof, my pacemaker logs.
Hacked by his man.
And the big one, your father's crash was no accident.
But mine? Planned. Use it.
Intervene before he does. Intervened. The title clicked. Her from beyond.
Me in the now.
Tears hot. I copied files. This, endgame ammo. Victor skipped bail, fled to a jet. Private strip in Jersey. Manhunt launched. But I knew, Cayman. His bolt hole. Controversial 5. Bounty. I posted it, $1M from Harper Funds for tips. Ethical?
Hell no.
Effective?
Watch.
Mom and I hold up. Penthouse fortress. She always knew, Mom said. Clutching the locket, Grandma's. Passed to me post-funeral. Inside, the key, and a tiny photo. Us 3 at Coney Island. Cotton candy grins. Nights blurred. News cycles devouring Victor. Stocks rebounding. But tension coiled. His reach lingered. A brick through the window. Note. Loose ends. Cops doubled.
But sleep? Armed. Then.
The call. Interpol. Nassau. Victor apprehended. Drunk on rum. Lena's flash drive in his pocket. Insurance gone wrong. Extradition swift. Trial looming. But the real high wire? Mom's choice. Divorce, she declared over breakfast. Avocado toast untouched. And therapy. For us.
Us.
Healing start. I hugged her. Empire secure. But scars? Eternal. Extradition dragged like a bad divorce. 2 months of depositions and delays. The kind that turned justice into a slot machine. Pull the lever. Hope for cherries. Victor rotted in a Manhattan jail cell. Orange jumpsuit clashing with his tan. But his lawyers spun webs. Mental health pleas. Duress from board pressures. Voss argued diminished capacity, painting him as a pawn in Wall Street's chess game. Pawn my ass, he was the kingpin. Checkmating lives for profit. I countered with Grandma's video. Unsealed for the prosecution. Her voice. Reedy but unyielding. Detailing the hack. Eleanor's lucid. The DA crowed in prep meetings. Coffee breath and cheap tie. Jury eats Grandma's for breakfast. But Victor's team leaked psych evals, my obsession, Mom's codependency, smearing us as the real villains. Page 6 ran, Heiress's Holy War. Is justice or vengeance at stake? Public fractured. Justice for Harper trended with Free Victor. Blue-check influencers debating family values versus corporate greed. Protests outside the courthouse, signs waving blood over bucks, clashing with suits chanting, innocent till proven. Controversy? My middle name now.
Ignita Boudekak.
America's love-hate with dynasties on blast. Mom dove into it. Reborn. Therapy twice weekly. Volunteering at women's shelters. Irony thick as fog. He made me small, she'd say. Eyes fierce. Not anymore. We bonded over takeout in the penthouse. Binging true crime docs. Laughing at the irony. Think they'll make one about us? She'd quip. Only if I direct, I'd shoot back. But nights alone. Doubts crept. Was this justice or jihad? Jax's grave-haunted. His suicide ruled homicide. Ruiz's team nailed a vortex goon. But the order? Victor's ghost. Controversial 6. Witness tampering counter. I authorized a sting. Undercover Fed posing as a juror bribe. Boss's paralegal bit. Caught on wire. Boss says $50K to sway. Slam dunk. Her license yanked. Victor's face in arraignment footage. Gaunt. Snarling. Which? Trial opened in sweltering July. Foley Square Zoo cameras flashing. Gawkers in Make America Empires Again tease.
Jury, diverses leis, Bronx Nurs.
Queens techie. Staten Island cop. Balanced. But Victor's charm? Lethal. Prosecution first. DA laid the timeline. Dad's crash. Grandma's attack. My disappearance. They spun the poisoning as attempted. 批种性非. Exhibits. Logs. Wires. Rizzo's taped regret from prison hospice. Hale paid cash.
Clean job.
Mom's testimony gutted the room. He courted me with lies. Buried my husband with blood money. Sobs echoed. Jury dabbing eyes. Voss cross. Regret. Or resentment over lost lifestyle. Truth, Mom snapped. Fire. My turn. Stand under oath. Heart hammering like a bass drop. I trusted him. He killed for control. The audio, full now. Unredacted, boomed. Victor's glee post-crash. Jury flinched. Voss pounced. MS. Harper.
Your.
Visions? Emails to therapists about second chances? Delusions of persecution. Objection, speculative. But damage. Whispers of my instability.
Post-recess.
I owned it. Grief talks funny. But facts? They scream. Dropped Grandma's USB. Pacemaker code. Victor's IP trace. Hacker testimony via affidavit. Jax's ghost. Victor testified day 4. Suit pressed. Voice honeyed. Annabelle's brilliant, but broken. Eleanor's will. Forgery bait. Lies flowed. Jury nodding until cross. DA played his prison calls. Bury the girl. Empire's mine. Checkmate. Defense rested ragged. Voss conceding mistrial whispers. But closing, her plea, a man's life for family flaws, stirred holdouts. Deliberation. 3 days. Pizza deliveries and tension. Mom and I paced the penthouse. Hudson glittering mockingly. What if, she breathed. Won't, but fear?
Real.
Verdict. Guilty. All counts, murder to Dad. Grandma. Attempted me.
Fraud.
Sentence, life.
No parole.
Courtroom erupted cheers. Wails. Victor lunged. Cuffs rattling. You bitches. I'll rot you from inside. Ruiz hauled him. But his eyes, promise of hell. As flashbulbs popped, Mom collapsed into me. Laughter sobs. It's done. Not quite. Post-trial. The Empire audit. $48 million reclaimed. Vortex dissolved. I rebranded Harper Holdings Green Tech Focus. Scholarships in Grandma's name. Mom, CEO Emeritus. Her touch steadying the ship. But twist brewed. Weeks later, Voss's appeal filing, new evidence. Witness recant. Lena? Vanished. A note. Forgive me. He has stirred. Blackmail eternal. Controversial 7 my play. Hired PIs Global. Found her in Vancouver. Cafe job. Haunted. He threatened my kid. She confessed over encrypted video. Audio's fake? No, real. But edited. Edited? Heart sank. Original. Victor to Rizzo. But context? Scare him off the road. No kill. Manslaughter bait.
Da esse caso cracked?
No. Rizzo's full tape. Buried in evidence lockup. Finish it. But appeals dragged. Victor's war chest funding delays. Decision 8. Settle shadows. I visited him. Riker's glass partition.
His face sallow.
End this, I said. Confess full. Mom's piece. He laughed. Hollow. You think you're her? Eleanor's puppet. Puppet? No, Avenger. Grandma intervened. So did I. He leaned close. Breath fogging glass. Secret? Your father's crash, my idea. But her trigger. She knew the rival. Pushed the merger. Complicit. Liar? Or truth? Grandma's note echoed. Strike true. Had she? Empire built on bones? Doubt poisoned. But I walked out. Appeal denied. Rizzo's tape sealed it. Victor's last card. Suicide watch. Then silence. Empire stabilized. But me? Fractured. Therapy with Mom. Shared sessions. Unpacking the rot. Forgive, she asked. Fight, I said. Legacy over absolution. Fall brought harvest. Napa Vineyard tour. Grapes bursting underfoot. Mom laughed genuine. Wind in her hair. She'd approve. She would. Intervened from grave.
From me.
But nights. Alone. The reset whispered. Was this life one? Or endless loops?
眾生上故事, Victory Holao.
Secrets eternal. Winter clamped New York like a vice. Snow blanketing the penthouse balcony in deceptive peace. The city below a muffled roar of survival. Victor's appeals exhausted, Supreme Court denial in spring. A footnote in the Times obit section when he shanked himself in Attica. Shank smuggled via a guard's greed. Karma's blade. Mom said over eulogy-less coffee. Her ring finger bare. Prenup ashes in the Hudson. Closure? Partial. The Empire thrived. Harper Green went public. Shares soaring on YesG waves. My face on Forbes 30 under 30. The Vindicator. But victory tasted like ash. Grandma's complicity. That parting shot from Victor gnawed like termites in beams. Was it bluff? I dug. Thorne's help. Estate attics yielding diaries yellowed as regrets. Entries from 16. Rival sniffing. Dad's accident could. Leverage. Protect the girl. Protect me? Or propel? She'd greenlit the scare. Escalation unintended. Moral quagmire. Ends justify? In America's merit myth. Yes, but blood sticks. Controversial 9. Expose it. Anonymous monograph to the board. Eleanor Shadow. The cost of legacy. Not slander, facts. Footnotes. Stock dipped 2%. But transparency surged. Ethics pledge. Named after Jax. Mom read it. Tears salting pages. She was human. Flawed like us.
Us.
Bond forged in fire. Unbreakable. We traveled, Napa first, vines whispering forgiveness. Then Europe. Mom's dream deferred. Paris cafes. Croissants flaking like old skins. Live, Grandma's ghost urged in every sunset. Back home. Suitors circled, tech bros. Old money heirs. All eyeing the crown. I dated one. A poet lawyer named Theo. Easy laugh. No shadows. But trust? Fractured glass. Sharp edges. Second chances, he'd say. Kissing my doubts away.
Trùng sinh sở zip, quy sông. Or wall.
Decision 10. The biggest.
Good twist controversial.
Founders Fund. $10M for women entrepreneurs. Jax's hackers included. Launch gala at the Met. Chandeliers dripping light. Gowns swirling like conspiracies. I spoke. Voice steady. Empires aren't built on backs, they lift them.
Grandma taught me that.
The hard way. Applause thundered. Mom beaming front row. But backstage. The hook looped, that marble floor. Blood I never spilled. Reset's echo. Had I changed fate? Or scripted it? Twist finale. Thorn's call. Summer 26. Miss Harper, another codicil. Posthumous. Safe deposit redux. Video 2. Grandma's study. Candles flickering. Annabelle. If you won. Good. If doubts linger. Remember, I intervened because you would. Blood doesn't lie. Build. Build. No complicity confession, just love.
Fierce.
Victor's lie. His last venom. Relief flooded. Cathartic as rain.
Kết thúc. No tayo di bao.
Empire hummed. Mom mentored startups. Theo's ring glinting tentative.
But me?
Forever changed. Trunks in scar. Invisible ink. New York's pulse matched mine. Relentless. Reborn. One dawn. Balcony perch. Coffee steaming. Skyline awakening. I touched the locket. Key gone but memory sharp. Thanks, Grandma, I whispered. We struck true. The city answered. Horns. Hustle. Life unpoisoned. Empire mine, not just dollars.
But dawn.